Creepers! What's up, you crazy creeps? It is Klersky. I am back. It is early, about 8 a.m. And first and foremost, I want to give a huge shout out to Steve, the amateur historian. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, I highly recommend it. He is out here in Portland and the surrounding areas as well, and his channel is incredible. He always comes up with such great ideas, knows a lot of history, and I just want to say thank you, Steve, for this one. But first I want to tell you guys, we are heading into Southeast Portland today, and this story might be, well, viewer discretion is advised, really. A little different than what we normally do here on the channel, but I have been known to pepper in some vlogs now and then talking about kind of odd Portland history. But where we're going to today is Southeast Portland, to the Pandora's Box murder house. That's right, this house has an incredibly interesting, kind of sad and very odd story behind it. We're gonna go check that out. Stay tuned, today's gonna be a fun one. All right, you guys, we just got off the Powell bus. Just kind of trekking through the neighborhoods now. We are headed up to Southeast Yamhill Street. And again, this subject matter is a little different than what we normally deal with, but I just couldn't pass the opportunity to document this place and time. Not only did I thought the story was just kind of different and interesting, I know years later might still have an effect on certain folks, so I want to, you know, not be disrespectful to the new owners of the property. So when we get up here, as requested by Steve on his channel, to not kind of linger around the property, I'll try and do my best of telling you guys the story as we're kind of getting a little bit closer. So a few more blocks to go and we will be there shortly. Gotta love the weird Portland stuff. This is cool. Just out kind of vlogging stuff from my channel. This is interesting. You got bored. This is very cool though. I love this, man. You got like your, what caught me off guard was I thought that was a person at first standing there, and then I was like, oh cool, weird art.
That's Cassandra.
Okay.
That's little Billy. He's albino. And that's Carmilla.
This is cool though, man. You got like it's like an old television set with like a magic 8-ball and
fuck ton of goldfish, and it was actually the tank.
East County.
Raymond, by the way.
I'm Christopher. I do just this little vlog on YouTube called The Creeper.
Nice. Well,
so I just creep around Portland.
Then we have a lot in common, dude.
Nice to meet you, bro. That's awesome. I'm gonna go. You actually named this lady here? That's so funny. Look at this, you guys. Oh, it's even all decked out for the 4th coming up. He said, duh. That's so awesome, dude. Check out this yard sign there with Carrie Fisher. Well, Princess Leia, rather. Nice. Check out this kind of robot looking guy. This is cool. I like that green and those like futuristic shades. Oh, it's a girl. It's a robot girl. Or maybe just like futuristic. Looks like she's got fangs too. Boy, that is a good one. Heck yeah, I love Southeast for all their art. I never knew this little placard was right here talking about the neighborhood. Sunnyside is one of the oldest urban neighborhoods east of Willamette River. The neighborhood's birthplace, or birth date rather, goes back to 1887 when the area was developed by the Sunnyside Land Improvement Company. At the termination of the new streetcar line at 34th and Belmont, the SL&I company plotted out the new suburb called Sunnyside. It was advertised in the Oregonian as being on the sunny side of the Willamette, away from the shadows of the West Hills. Sunnyside was located only 2.5 miles from downtown Portland and was accessible from the newly opened Morrison Bridge. This building served as the first post office. Over the next 50 years, the neighborhood developed its present size, augmenting its residential boundaries, were 2 commercial districts along Belmont and Hawthorne. So apparently this building here was the first bank, or I'm sorry, post office. So that's pretty darn cool. And you can see it's kind of that like cool looking historic windows up top here. But the very first post office was right here. Never knew that. I wouldn't have known that either if it wasn't for that placard. Pretty darn cool. This house is pretty darn cool too. Just a block from where we just were. This is the Sunnyside Exchange. They've got a ton of art all over their property here, including these little little dinosaur action. You guys see those little dinosaurs in there? That's so cool. And I'm also seeing some little characters over here. We got like a little strawberry guy here. And this cool little flower piece. Oh, I like that. It's like the whole pole's actually a giant flower. And then we've got some broccoli. I like these little characters a lot. But as you roll up to this intersection, you can see it's just full of art. And then also this really cool house here with all the colors. Oh gosh, there's even a, check this out. They've got a rat on this one, or a little mouse. Uh-oh, we got the cat, almost like a Heathcliff, eyeing the mouse over there. And then I think this guy's a pineapple. Well, let's see, at least he looks like one. I really like what they've done here though. This is great. Definitely a little pineapple guy. Oh, and look at, there's a little, I thought it was a Smurf at first, but it's a little mushroom guy, and it looks like he's got visions of palm trees. What a fun neighborhood though. Oh, there's another flower. Look at this. Another full flower here. Definitely Sunnyside. And I'm also seeing something else up here. Oh, it looks like a devil looking guy, and then I think that's He-Man and Skeletor. Yeah. He-Man and Skeletor. What a cool house. Gotta love all the art too. I think there used to be a giant flower painted out here. I think they might redo it every couple years. Look at this house. Looks like a giant creamsicle. A lot of color. Very cool. Another interesting looking house right here. And when I walked by, I noticed these little like peppers and like a little some sort of gourd, and there's more peppers here too. But what caught my eye was right here. Look at this, it's like a pelican playing the saxophone. Are you jamming out, buddy? That's pretty good. I like that. Very interesting. Always like walking through these side streets with all the trees and vines and everything. It's real pretty. It's a nice neighborhood for sure. The old Sunnyside. We're now approaching Hawthorne. Getting close. And we are making our way to the actual house that this all took place back in 1946. A gentleman by the name of James Bowden lived in this house with his wife and 2 kids. And Mr. Bowden went to serve some time in World War II, and during that time apparently his wife decided that she was going to have a affair with Mr. Bowden, or Bowden, however you pronounce it. And back then, the house was still being occupied by his family, and in that small amount of time, James found out that his wife was actually cheating on him with another man in this neighborhood here. At some point, he saw them together walking and decided he was going to construct a little tiny box and fill this so-called little box with explosives. I don't know if it was dynamite or gunpowder, or exactly what it was, but this little box that he worked on for a long time, he was always downstairs in a basement kind of tinkering with this little box. Well, he decided he was going to take a trip to Newport, Oregon to do some fishing. And on that trip, well, right before the trip, he informed his wife and children to not go anywhere near the basement, to basically just stay out of the basement completely, and to heed his warning. Well, the children listened, you know, being kids, they wanted to respect their dad and his privacy and things like that. And where we're going is just right, like about 2-3 more houses up. I didn't want to linger on the property too much. In fact, Google Maps has completely blurred this image out if you were to try and look for it online. But anyways, to get back to my story, he told his family basically, do not tinker with this box. And his wife decided one day that she was going to actually go down into the basement and figure out what the heck her husband has been secretively working on for so long. And I want to show you the house now. Right here, that's the exact house that this all happened. You can see it's like maybe a 2 or 3 story, but it's got the basement. And that basement right there is where that little box was constructed. So make a long story short, or a short story long, his wife actually went down into this basement right here and opened the box. And when she opened the box, kaboom! Literally blew her to smithereens, and shook the whole neighborhood. The Oregonian was stated that a lot of the houses around here felt the blast, so they knew something was up. But right here, this is the house right here, the Pandora murder house. And James was actually tried later, said it was a complete accident. It was actually supposed to be set up for her husband, or her you know, new lover or friend or whatever. He was totally jealous of her. But the box basically completely blew up. I don't know if they've reconstructed the basement or whatnot, but you can see most of this stuff looks pretty old, like it's maybe survived some of the explosion. I don't know if it blew the house totally up. Here's the actual basement right here, and you can see a lot of this stonage that's been placed here over the years. Looks like some of it is broken, so not sure if that actually took place during the blast of when the box went off, or if this was just over time. You can see the walls are kind of cracked here too, so I'm not sure how big of an explosion it was, but it was enough to rattle the neighbor's windows, apparently, to the Oregonian. I'll do my best to insert some shots, or for some clippings from the original Oregonian page. But right here is the house that Mr. Bowden ended up killing his wife at. Now, a lot of people say, well, it was probably a mistake. I don't think that, you know, him being so concerned about her cheating on him or finding a new so-called lover would cause him to kill her if he actually loved her. I don't see why he would have done something like that. So I don't think he meant to actually kill his wife. I'm pretty sure the explosion, or the explosives rather, were meant to kill his, you know, his wife's new affair, or whatever you want to call it. And like Steve requested too, I'm not going to really hang around the neighborhood too much. I don't want to upset the new owners. Apparently the guy that lives here now has requested and denied any interviews, so I'm not sure if he's related to the family or if he just doesn't want his property be known as such thing. And I know years later this can probably still be touchy for a lot of folks, you know, being such a tragic thing to happen to somebody's loved ones. Probably affected his children as well, you know, kind of a loss on both ends. But anyways, James Bowden went on trial. He actually pled not guilty, but the jury actually found him guilty of first-degree murder, and they actually sentenced him to life in prison at the Oregon State Penitentiary. And I'm not sure if he's still alive, but no probation, no parole, life in prison. Kind of got what he had coming to him. And the way I look at it is if you're going to construct some sort of explosion device and just keep it in the basement of your house, I mean, like, go ahead, who does that? You know, I mean, that's just a terrible accident waiting to happen, whether you want it to happen to, you know, his wife and kids, and intentionally or not. I mean, that's just kind of goofy. So obviously he wasn't in his right mind. But yeah, it's just crazy to think that I actually lived pretty darn close to here at one point, right here on Yamhill Street. And just, it's crazy to me after I hear that story years later and reading the Oregonian articles as to how somebody could do that. And then when you tell somebody, hey, look, stay away from it, don't touch it, he's constantly down there tinkering with the box. You know, it probably made his wife go, what in the heck is he doing? And why? It probably just struck, you know, like a curiosity chord with her, as like, I'm going to figure out what the heck is going on down in that basement and figure out what the heck has he been up to, you know, being so secretive. So both parties, you know, her doing her thing with her new called lover and having the affair, you know, I'm not condoning that as either, but you know, both parties definitely were in the wrong. But on James Bowden's case, definitely kind of a tragic story, especially for the rest of the family. I mean, not only did they lose their mother, but eventually the dad was convicted and sent to prison. So kind of a lose-lose. And I know people, you know, they say lovers quarrel and all these things, but that's just darn right crazy to construct a box like that. So anyways, I wanted to take you guys down here again. Thank you very much to Steve, the amateur historian. And yeah, that's gonna do it from Southeast Portland. I love you guys very much for always tuning in and creeping with. I'm gonna go get me another coffee. It feels like it might actually rain, so we came out here at the perfect time today. But gosh, what a weird and interesting story. And I bet it was really hard to find a new you know, rental proprietor of that place, a new owner or renter, especially if they knew the story as to what happened. Apparently a lot of these houses in through Southeast have a lot of weird, kind of creepy backstory. So stay tuned, and make sure you guys hit that thumbs up if you did enjoy this vlog. You can ring that bell down below. That way when I creep, you guys will be the first to creep. But until next time, Creeper out for now. Peace.